Hello, I'm Audrey Brockhouse, and this video is a short introduction to Webspark on Acquia. I'll be covering ASU's presence on the web, Webspark, Acquia and Site Factory, and some resources for learning more about creating sites in Webspark. First up, an overview of ASU's web presence. ASU's presence on the web is enormous. Because users almost always cross over between several different ASU sites within a session, it's very important that the websites have a standard user interface. Users should not have to reorient themselves and learn new navigation structures every time they visit a new ASU subdomain. Web standards are ASU's rules for visual design, content, and functionality of websites. They enforce adherence to the brand, but also encompass legal compliance with accessibility and data security and privacy regulations. ASU websites are required to follow these ASU web standards as well. So we as a university have a need to serve many different audiences with content in a way that has a consistent design and user experience, and Webspark was created in answer to this need. What is Webspark? In simple terms, it's software that lets ASU users create websites without needing to know code. So you'll see from this screenshot here, creating content in Webspark can be as simple as filling out a form. In more technical terms, Webspark is a Drupal distribution. If you haven't heard of Drupal, you may have heard of other content management systems like WordPress. Drupal is similar to WordPress in many ways, but it tends to be suited to use cases with lots of different types of users and content and permissions. Drupal is a popular CMS for educational institutions. So ASU uses it, Harvard, Yale, and most of the other Ivy League colleges use it, and our friend to the south, U of A, also uses it. A Drupal distribution is a full copy of Drupal that includes Drupal core, but then it has additional features and software built into it, like themes and modules and libraries. One of the most important features built on top of Drupal in WebSpark is the theme. The renovation theme is created by Enterprise Technology and it styles the sites to meet brand standards. So very basic things like the colors that are used, the fonts, the sizes of the headings, and more are styled into the sites to meet brand and web standards out of the box. Those of you with experience in WordPress will be familiar with the Gutenberg editor, also known as the block editor. The Gutenberg editor is the default content editing experience for WordPress. In WebSpark, our default content editing experience is in a module called Layout Builder. The user experience is ultimately very similar, with a sidebar menu of components and the ability to arrange blocks of content on the page. There are in-depth tutorials on the web services site that walk through building content on WebSpark sites. The ET Web team maintains the WebSpark release stable site in order to demonstrate and test WebSpark components. On the kitchen sink page, all of the components available in WebSpark are demonstrated, so you can see the full menu of options available to you as you build your site. ASU has a contract with Acquia, which is a web host that specializes in hosting Drupal, and ET has built our processes around Acquia specifically. All live WebSpark sites are hosted on Acquia. So although WebSpark and Acquia are technically separate things, for us right now they go hand in hand. Acquia is one of the few web hosts that supports Drupal multi-site. In a multi-site setup, each site has its own database and files, but the code base is shared between sites. This allows the code to be managed centrally and for updates to quickly and efficiently be applied across the stack. So, for example, each site will have its own content, that is its own database and files, but it will not have its own copy of Drupal code, like Drupal core, for instance. Before the move to Acquia in summer of 2025, site owners were responsible for code maintenance and updates on their websites. Now in Acquia, these are centrally managed by ET. That means that site owners no longer have a responsibility to have as much understanding of the code going on behind the scenes and focus more on their content. The vast majority of ASU's sites on Acquia are in Site Factory. Key sites that need to have a standalone code base, for example, asu.edu homepage or ASU News, are hosted on Acquia Cloud Next. The rest of this presentation will be focused on sites and use cases in Site Factory, since that is the majority of our sites. Acquia Site Factory calls each separate code base a stack. Each stack can have hundreds of sites on it. As of early 2026, Stack 1 is the largest stack with more than 350 sites on it. Most new sites today are going to go into Stack 1. The other stacks serve more specific units and needs. Updating all of these sites happens within a matter of minutes because those sites on the stack are all using the same code base. Depending on how comfortable you are with code, you may never want or need to access the Acquia Site Factory dashboard. We have some resources listed on the next slide if you do. Common tasks that are carried out in the Site Factory dashboard by site builders are things like creating a brand new site, clearing caches, and creating a backup of your site. In summary, Acquia is the hosting solution for Webspark. Hosting does cost money for the department, which you'll want to budget if you're planning on spinning up a site. For a small basic site, which the majority of our sites are, web hosting is about $45 a month. Sites that receive a lot of traffic will need larger hosting plans. If you're interested in diving deeper into Webspark 2, the resources on the Web Services site will show you how to get started in creating and building out your website. We also host weekly office hours to answer Webspark and Acquia questions. The larger ASU web community is also a very welcoming place to help get oriented in the web ecosystem at ASU. So there'll be a link with this presentation on how to join there as well. The links shown in this video will be posted on the Web Services site, along with tutorials for diving deeper into Webspark topics. Thank you.